You are guilty of murder. You are a killer. You are a killer of your dreams and plans. Not talking about the literal one that will send you to jail. No. We're talking about something that it's probably even far more reaching. You are your own killer. If you can imagine in an alternate world, an alternate universe, the other version of you that took actions and made decisions that changed life, that changed your life. Something that you wanted to do before but you never got to it. And someone else in an alternate universe actually did those things that you wanted to do and is extremely successful. See, that could have been you. That could be you. But you never took action. There was something holding you back, and because you didn't do the thing that would have brought you success, in a sense, you did kill yourself, your future self, your potential. The potential that you could have been someone that you always wanted to be. You dreamt about being a successful entrepreneur. You dreamt about having that position. You dreamt about having a certain amount of wealth. You dreamt about having a family of sorts. But the thing that stopped you from getting the girl you wanted or asking the guy out, the fear that stopped you from learning and taking action to do the thing that you needed to do because you feared somebody and never asked them for the job, made you stay working in that minimum wage job. It made you stay working in the 9-to-5 job because of your fear of failure and your fear of looking foolish perhaps and your fear of losing security even. It stopped you from your highest potential. You had dreams, you had plans, you had goals, you had aspirations. And all of that was killed, eliminated. It never came to fruition. It never came to full growth because of a fear that you had. Well, let's talk about that right now. I want to help you to overcome your fear this moment. I want to talk to you about why getting rid of fear is extremely important for you. But not only am I going to talk to you about why it's good for you to get rid of fear, but as your coach, I'm going to show you how you can get rid of the fear right now and once and for all. And encourage you to take action and your next steps you should be able to take. I'm Lewis. Consider me your good coach. Good coach. I want to help you to do good, to be good. That when other people look at you, they'll be like, that is a good manager. That is a good janitor. Yes, as a janitor, any position. If you love it, you want to do it, that's for all you right there. I'm here to help you to not be average, not be mediocre, but to be good. And not only to be good, but I also show you the good way to be, to have good characteristics and things that will set you apart from the others. But right now I'm telling you about fear. There's something that's stopping and stunting your growth. Perhaps you're the one who has studied and aspired to be in a position that does pay well. You want higher income. And you look at other people that are in those positions and you wish you had what they had. We're not talking about being ungrateful for what you have. Of course you're grateful. But look, the moment you stop growing is the moment you stop living. I mean, isn't life about growing? Isn't life about reaching your potential? You see the flowers, how they grow up and they show their marvelous grandeur or whatever. You see them and you love what you see. But that's the purpose of the flowers, to grow and to blossom and to provide value for honeybees. And there's purpose to these things. We grow up as well. We have potential. We have hopes and aspirations. We think like that. We want to grow. But perhaps you're in a situation where you have not been able to grow. Perhaps you're stagnant. You want to advance your skills and want to grow in your skill set. But in the position that you are in right now, it is not conducive to that type of growth. You've probably outgrown your position, so you want to move on and move forward. Well, the time is now. But the thing is that there's something called fear. And there's a fear of many, many things. And that started from perhaps even when you were a child. When you had fears of failure, fear of not having security, and lots of different other fears that have crept up and stayed in your psyche all this time. Well, it's time to eliminate those fears. It's time to get back and reprogram your mind about these fears. Eliminating fear from your life is extremely important, because until you do, you will not realize your full potential. You will not see yourself growing as you should. And not only that, but let me ask you, let me look you in the eye and ask you, are you really going to allow your fears to keep what your children deserve to have, what your family deserves to have, the home they deserve to have? You're gonna keep that from them just because you are afraid? Afraid of what? I'm gonna show you that by defining your fears, it will eliminate a great portion of that fear. But let me tell you, just think about the consequences of not taking action. That because of your fear, not only are you killing your potential, your future self, that could be great, but your fears are also keeping your family from having a life that they should have. See, if you, let's say, the breadwinner of the home, husband or wife, if you were to live out and be your true self, the one who is excellent in their job and doing great work and not fearful, and you're asking for the raise, you're asking for more opportunities, you're asking for more sales, and thus increasing your income, and thus by increasing your income you're able to buy that house, have that vehicle, maintain that vehicle so it doesn't break down on the side of the road, have that job that you can actually sleep enough and not be so distracted when you're driving and sleepy and get in an accident, put your family at risk. You can actually afford the security system. You can afford many, many, many things. You can afford to give your kids a better career, a potential career in the future. Give your kids a better opportunity to grow. Let them not worry so much about where their next meal is gonna come from, except just choosing, is it gonna be McDonald's or is it gonna be Pizza Hut? That's the only decision they should be able to make. Not, am I gonna eat today? Of course not. But if you're fearful of being rejected, of hearing no's, then you are putting them at risk. You're putting your future at risk. And other people that are watching you, that admire you secretly, that look at you and think positively and wish they were like you, your fears are holding you back, and thus also showing them they should fear as well. Of course you don't want to do that. You want to eliminate these things. Well, let me show you how you could do that. Number one, there's 4 ways four steps you can take to start to eliminate fear. I'm going to talk about other ways you can eliminate fear. But look, listen. Number 1, plan. Number 2 is to study. Number 3 is to take action. Number 4 is to be consistent. I got this from Brian Tracy. Brian Tracy speaks about how to eliminate fear. He talks to entrepreneurs and he speaks about business growth. And I believe that this process is able to help you out in eliminating the fear, because look, number 1, you plan ahead. You want to take action. Well, you plan ahead. These steps, this progression will help build courage in you. And courage is the opposite of fear. So if you build courage by planning ahead and knowing what you're getting into, and then taking action, and then being consistent and persevering in this, that will eliminate fear. Listen, it is said that let me, before I get into the steps again and speak more about it in detail, the thing you fear, it will only grow bigger and bigger and bigger as you continue to walk away from it and ignore the problem. The fear will grow bigger as you avoid the problem, but as you get closer and closer to it and confront it head on, you'll see that it'll eliminate, it'll shrink in size even. That's what you're aiming for. We're talking about getting the fear out of your life, making it shrink so little that you can just step right over it and achieve the success that you want, accomplish the things you have to do, make the change in your career that you've been wanting to do for so long. It is time to do that now. So if you start to plan ahead. Number one, plan your future. How do you see yourself in the next 2 years, 5 years, 10 years? Plan ahead. Think about where you want to be. Make the plans to do it. Think about the career change you want to make. Plan for it. What steps you need to take. Who you need to speak with. Number two, now that you've decided on the career path you want to take, or who you need to speak with, or what you need to do, now it's time to study. Now it's time to get to know and understand what you're getting yourself into. Learn about it. Know as much about it as you can. The more you know about it, the less fearful you will be. One of the things that people say they're afraid of is public speaking. Well, when I've done public speaking, for me, I learned that the more you know about something, to the T, I mean, you know a lot about whatever you're going to speak on, my fears subsided much, much greatly, if you could say. My fears went way down once I started to learn more about that thing. If you're fearful of something, the more knowledge you get about it, the more easy it will be to overcome the fear. Not knowing about something does increase fear. So the more you know about something, in other words, the less ignorance you have, it will help you to overcome the fear. Once you study and you know these things, you have your plan, you've studied up, so you are very knowledgeable about the thing. Number three is take action. Yes, take action. Stop waiting for someone to come around and tell you the magic key, the magic word to get rid of fear. There's not something that can be said to you that's going to just eliminate your fear altogether. You must take action. You must be able to move closer to the thing that you are afraid of. Like I said before, the closer you get to the thing that you fear, the less big it'll appear. But strangely enough, the more you avoid it, the more you walk away from it, the bigger it will be. One of the ways you could also eliminate fear, even I learned this, is through faith and love. The more you have love for a thing, the more bold and courageous you will be. So cultivating a love for X will get you to do the Y. For example, for me, because I love my children so much, I will do this. Because I want them to not be hungry and not be fearful of the future, because I want them to have a better future, I will do X. The more love I have for them, the more boldness and courage I will have to face my fears and move forward. One of my fears is losing job security, because I have 3 children, a family to look after. Okay? I want to give them the best, and I don't want to lose that from them. I don't want to ever have to deal with having them without food. So that fear will be turned into a courage because of my love for them. Because I love them so much, I will face the fear and ask the questions that I have to ask. Even getting a job, in a sense, is overcoming fear, because you have to overcome the fear of applying, of asking, of being interviewed. You have to overcome the fear of looking foolish and being rejected, perhaps. And even after you get the job, there are fears. And again, I'm showing you that you have already overcome fears already So what's this new fear you have? Nothing but another hurdle for you to leap. You've already been leaping over hurdles. The obstacles that are in the way are the way to get to the point you want to be. The obstacle is the way. I recommend you listen to Joshua Rodriguez on YouTube. He has a book study on that same book. I also recommend reading the book, The Obstacle is the Way. But I'm telling you though, you have already overcome fears to get to this point. So what's another one? You've already proven that you can do this. Why are you suddenly struck with fear as if you've never done this before? You've already overcome fears before. Now it's just another hurdle, another repetition, another jump. You know, last time I checked, when you go to the gym, the more jumps you do, the stronger your muscles get. So here's another hurdle for you to jump over. Your love for others will increase your boldness and courage, and thus overcome fear. Take action. Start moving forward. And number 4 is, now that you've taken action, continue to press forward. Press on. Move on forward. It's necessary for you to keep acting this way. Moving forward. And let me talk about this as well. Let me talk to you about more ways in which you can overcome fear. I talked about acting this way. Listen, your body, how your body acts, also has an effect on how you feel and how you think. Absolutely, yes it does. I've read books about how to build courage, how to build charm, how to be charming, how to be courageous, how to be a people person. But listen to me. They say that when you act, even having a posture, having a position, you know, even just fixing your body language in a way where it shows that you're successful, you show that you have power, you will feel powerful. You will feel less timid, less weak, less fearful. Just physically acting as if you are fearless will help you to not have that fear. Having the body language, your composure, your stature, having that posture of power and confidence, acting as though you have made the sale, acting as though you have made 10 sales today, you've made 10 phone calls and you've gotten 10 yeses. Having that posture will actually help you feel that way. So thus, having the posture of fearlessness will help you to overcome that fear. Also, surrounding yourself with individuals that are fearless or have taken actions that are fearless and bold and courageous. You reading those biographies and listening to the stories, watching their videos, will also build courage in you and remove and eliminate eliminate the fear that is inside of you. And you know, also, I believe this is very big. Positive affirmations is also extremely important. How you talk to yourself is extremely important. See, what goes on in your head, I know a lot of people talk about mindsets, but let me tell you that the information that is in your head, how you talk to yourself, what you allow to think on, what you allow your brain to think on, to chew on, to listen to see, is extremely important, because that will determine your fears. Yes, listening to audio like this that talks about overcoming your fears, reading books about overcoming fears, listening to individuals talk about how they were afraid yet they still took action, helps overcome fears. And then overcoming fear will help you to make the transition from your dreary job perhaps into doing something that you want to do and will help you to be successful, will be what you need to hear. And the feeling you get that when you jump over the hurdle, you start to feel a little bit down and discouraged, and you start to think about, oh man, I wish I didn't take that action because now I'm afraid of losing my job security. Look, these are the times when you need to be listening to people that are successful, that have made the jump and have been successful. This is the time for you to start listening to those that will encourage you. That's why I'm here. That's why many others are here. To be that shoulder to lean on, to be that helping hand. To say, look, I've been there where you are. Hang in there. You're going to see the results of your labor. It is not in vain. It is not in vain what you're doing. What you are doing is a step in the right direction. And let me assure you that even if you are in a position that provides job security, I bet you that even before this job that you have, you also had another job that you felt secure in. But what happened then? When you made the leap, you felt uneasy at first and almost restless. But didn't a good come out of that still? Did it not put you in a better position? There's always fears associated with any kind of move, any kind of transition. But I've seen by experience that the result, that the things that happen afterwards still produce even more positive results. Somewhere other places they say it produces fruits, but it actually does. Brian Tracy, in the book that I'm reading, Action Strategies for Performance, he speaks about a professor who taught entrepreneurs about business and success, and the professor was remembering how it's just a little bit of his students, they had success. Only a small percentage of students had success, and he noticed that those that were successful, the common denominator in them, not only the fearlessness they had, but they were so fearless enough that they actually took action. In other words, they actually spoke to people, they made the phone calls, they quit their jobs, they burned their bridges in order to take on new opportunities. And he said that those who went on and took action, he likened it to walking through a corridor. If you can imagine a long hallway, you open up the doors to this long hallway. And a lot of people, when they open the doors, they're just afraid to walk in there. They don't want to walk. They like to read about the corridor. They like to read about the long hallway. But they never really start to take action, or they take a few steps into the corridor, but then they walk right back out of the corridor, and they rather just keep the status quo and be safe and secure there. But the small percentage of those that are successful, they actually open the doors, they walk into the corridor, they take steps, action. They take 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps, 4 steps. They are doing one thing, but you know what happens though? These individuals that walk through the corridors, he said, they look to the left, they look to the right, they found new doors of opportunity that they would not have seen. It was not visible to those that stayed outside the doors and just looked into the corridor. Those doors of opportunity were hidden from them that were outside the doors. But those that actually went in and started walking, in a sense, took a leap of faith and walked into the corridor and walked in the hallway, they started to see opportunities. And they started taking those opportunities. After they took action, they saw opportunities. After they started taking steps towards success and overcame their fear and were bold, then they saw more chances to make success happen. And it opened up doors even then. So, even though you're in a position that you perhaps say provides job security, listing out the pros and cons of where you are helps to see things clearly and see through the fear. If you have a fear, write that fear down on a piece of paper. This is the final piece of advice I'm going to give you here. I'm just giving you value. I'm trying to help you overcome fear. So like I said, writing it down on a piece of paper, put a line right through the middle of it. To the left, pros, to the right, cons. Define the problem. Find out what the problem really is. Get to the root of it. Find the fear in it. And write the pros and cons of it. and find out exactly what is the worst case scenario of that problem, of that fear. In other words, if I do this, what's the very worst that can happen? You ask yourself. And once you identify what's the very worst thing that can happen, then you know what you're going to do? You're going to take steps, do things to eliminate that negative consequence from occurring. In other words, soften the blow, apply airbags, put the parachute on the problem, the fallout of it. That's how you overcome fear. That's how you become more bold. That's how you become someone that takes steps in the right direction and you change your life for the better. That's how you can do that. Overcome the fear. Stop living the status quo if you're not happy in it. Start to get what you deserve. Start giving your family what they deserve. A better lifestyle. Your fears are holding you back. Your fears are killing you. Stop the murder. Eliminate the eliminator. Kill the killer. Murder the murderer. The thoughts of fear. Oftentimes you notice that the fear was just fear. It was just a thought. It wasn't really a material thing that can hurt you. A lot of times you realize if you take steps to do the thing that you want to do, the fear was just, you think about it, you're like, what was I so afraid of? You think. That's what I want you to go to. Start taking action steps in that direction. Know your plan. Study what you want to do. Take action. And keep on going. My name is Louis, the Good Coach. If you want to reach out to me, find me on Instagram at the Good Coach. Good Coach. Reach out to me there. Find the description and the links in the description below on this YouTube channel. Subscribe to the channel, of course. Let me know what you think, guys. Let me know what you think. Tell me what fears you've gotten, what fears you have overcome. I will see you next time. And in the meantime, you take care of yourself.